Okay, as runners, we just want to move forward. We're working so hard towards our goal and we just want that forward progress to be linear, but unfortunately it's not the case, and from time to time you're going to get injured. In this video I'm going to give you the top 10 things to do when you have a muscle injury as a runner. I'm Grantham, a coach and runner who's gone from a pretty average marathon time of 4 hours and 25 minutes to running 2 hours and 21 for the marathon and 6 hours and 42 for the 100k by focusing on being as injury proof and robust as I possibly can, so that every single run and session that I do moves me forward. I help runners from beginners to experienced athletes to remove limiting beliefs by optimizing their training so that every single run makes sense, and that way they can run way faster than they ever thought possible. So if you feel like you're capable of way more, please get in contact by booking a call in the description. Number 1, don't panic. I know it sounds easier said than done, and when you get an injury, it feels like the whole world is collapsing under you. But the best way is to remain calm, and then you can make more sensible decisions. Number 2, stop running immediately. A lot of runners will try to run through pain, especially if it's sharp pain. It's only going to get worse. We all are looking for that workout that will take us through injury. Just doesn't exist. Number 3, don't Google it. If you Google it, your leg is gonna fall off. Go and see a specialist and get a sports physiotherapist, ideally a running specific sports physiotherapist in your corner that you're with for years, if not decades. The most valuable member of my team is a physiotherapist that will help me to navigate small issues and bigger issues. And if that person knows you, they also know you to a point where they know if there's a real serious issue or if it's something that is manageable. Number 4, let them assess the problem. Let the specialist assess and do what the specialist does best. And that's why it's better to have a running specific physiotherapist. Yeah, if you've got a physiotherapist working with sports people, they're still working with the same human body, but the human body is moving over the ground very differently for basketball as to tennis, as to running. If you've got a running specific physiotherapist, then they're used to seeing bodies that are moving over the ground in very similar ways, which means they're able to identify the problem, and not just identify the problem, but fix the root cause of the problem. If you fix the root cause, and that is often strengthening that area, then it becomes a strength and not a weakness. So if you, for instance, have an Achilles issue and you fix the root cause of that issue, then it's no longer something that you've got in your mind. It's an area where you can push because you know you're strong and solid in that area. Number 5, again, listen to the specialist, but rest, ice, compression, elevation, RICE still works today. And for me, often ice, 20 minutes every 3 to 4 hours will help with the inflammation and help me get back on track quicker than ever. Number 6, one of the best pieces of advice that was ever given to me as a runner was by a professional cyclist who just crashed in the Tour de France and had broken his femur. Probably the worst injury that you can have in terms of time that it takes you to get back on the bike or get back on the road and continue. And his mentality was that he puts all the energy that he takes to become a professional cyclist and to be a professional cyclist, and then turns that into a professional recoverer. If we have the same philosophy when it comes to our lives, and you've got other aspects of your life, family, work, etc., what that means for me is look after your sleep, reduce your stress, look after your nutrition, be eating a lot of the right foods, and also hydration, electrolyte supplements. Give yourself the best possible immune system and body, the best possible energy to get over that injury as quickly as possible. Number 7, it's tempting, but avoid stretching that area, especially in the early stages. See the specialist first, and then later do exactly what the specialists recommend. Number 8, cross train. For me, it's always been about the bike. As soon as you can get onto that activity, I know that I can get out on the bike, get pretty much the same buzz as when I'm out running, but I'm flushing oxygen-rich blood around the muscles so that they're gonna repair even faster. So you're not just helping yourself to recover, you're also keeping and maintaining that fitness. If you get that right, it's also a nice mental break away from what you're doing on the day-to-day. Number 9, listen to your body. Pain is feedback. We have this crazy thing that goes along in the last 20 years, which is no pain, no gain. I've never heard somebody in a sport at the top of their game, or even in the top 100, talk about pain like that. It's absolutely not the case. And what it actually is a misunderstanding of what pain actually is. Pain is not the last 10 kilometers of a marathon where you're suffering, you're pushing through. That's discomfort. It's not pain. Pain will give you feedback when you're injured to let you know how slowly you need to progress and get running again. Number 10, rebuild gradually. But more important than that, and the most important point of this video, make that weakness, that injury that you've just had, into a strength. For me, 7 or 8 years ago, that was Achilles ruptures. And if you've ever had anything wrong with your Achilles, you'll know that it's frustrating and it's also very painful because you just cannot get blood flow to that area in order to fix the injury. So you don't know when you can proceed. And for me, as soon as I was able to fix that and go through rehabilitation and then the prehabilitation, I never stopped doing that prehabilitation because I wanted that area to be so strong that first of all, I didn't get injured again, but also so that I wasn't thinking about, should I do that race or should I do that interval session because I know I have weak Achilles. I wanted to be strong in that area. So whatever that problem, whatever that injury was, see the specialist, figure out the root cause, strengthen that root cause and turn it into a strength for you. And the last thing I will say is patience is key, and it's the last thing you want to hear because you want to do well now. Completely understand that. But if you look at how we progress, all you need to do is zoom out and look at where you started and where you currently are, and maybe this is a pullback from where you really want to be. But within 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to be in a completely different place and with the experience of not to do that again. Good luck. I hope you got something from that because it's such an important part of the game. But let me know in the comments below. Were you injured within the last couple of years? How did you fix it? And how do you still deal with it today to make that into a strength?